Imagine this. Your money working harder than you ever could. While you sleep, relax, or spend time with the people you love, your wealth keeps growing on its own, as if it had a life of its own. That's the essence of what many call the curve of wealth, a principle that can completely transform your financial future if you understand how it really works. Most people are taught that the only way to get rich is to grind endlessly, chase promotions, or work longer hours. From a young age, we're told the same story at home, in school, and by society itself. Study hard, get a diploma, and work 8 or more hours a day without rest, or else you'll be considered a failure. But what nobody tells you is that many millionaires never followed that path. A surprising number didn't even finish school, yet still built fortunes through entrepreneurship, discipline, and consistent investing. Of course, education matters. If you can study, it only opens more doors. But lacking a diploma doesn't doom you to poverty. What truly matters is vision, strategy, and persistence. Research shows that over half of the world's wealthy people are investors. A big portion are entrepreneurs. Very few relied on luck. If you look at legends like Warren Buffett, you'll notice something interesting. His fortune wasn't made in his early years. It snowballed later, once his money had started generating more money. That's when the curve of wealth takes over, and suddenly the numbers get very real, very fast. But here's where most people give up. Imagine you start with $1,000 and manage to get a return of 1% per month. That's 10 bucks. $10 feels like nothing compared to the dream of getting rich. And this is the point where people quit. We live in a world of instant delivery, instant rides, instant everything. And so waiting years for money to grow feels unbearable. It's this impatience that so many so-called gurus exploit. They dangle shortcuts and promises of quick riches, when the truth is that wealth works like building a house. You need to lay the foundation before you enjoy the finished structure. Think about Buffett again. He bought his first stock at just 11 years old, but didn't become a millionaire until nearly 30. That's almost 2 decades of planting seeds before harvesting real results. It's the process that matters. First you sow, later you reap. And if you're not ready for that journey, then wealth building will always seem out of reach. Now, when does money actually start to feel alive? Many specialists point to a key moment. Hitting your first $10,000 invested. That's when compound growth begins to feel tangible. At $20,000, it gets even better. 1% monthly return means $200 automatically rolling in every single month. Not life-changing yet, but enough to see the snowball effect in action. And here's the magic. When you reinvest instead of spending, the growth accelerates. 200 a month turns into thousands more across the year, and every reinvested cent adds fuel to the fire. Over time, that's what creates the curve that separates the wealthy from everyone else. Still, reality isn't easy. Taxes, costs, unexpected expenses, they all test your discipline. That's why Benjamin Graham, one of Buffett's mentors, taught that obstacles will always exist. But the question is whether you'd rather face them while building freedom or while staying dependent on others. One path leads to control, the other leads to struggle. There's a simple rule that makes this curve more accessible. The rule of 20%. Take whatever you earn and commit at least a fifth of it to investing. Let's say the average monthly income is $1,500. 20% is $300. If you already have $20,000 invested, which is earning you another $200 monthly, then you're automatically putting away about $100 a month without stretching yourself thin. Apply even a modest growth rate to that, and in just 3 years, your wealth doubles. In 6 years, it multiplies nearly 5 times. And in 10 years, you're looking at more than $180,000, all from steady, boring, disciplined steps. But here's the hard truth. Most people never get there. Why? Because they repeat the same mistakes over and over. Impatience is the first one. Everything around us happens fast, so we expect money to do the same. But wealth is more like a tree. It starts as a seed. For years, it looks fragile, even invisible. But given time, it grows tall and unshakable. The second mistake is the lack of financial control. Too many people spend every dollar they make, and some dig even deeper with debt. They wait for a miracle moment that never comes. But the curve of wealth doesn't grow from promises. It grows from surpluses, from the money you keep and protect. The third mistake is chasing the wrong risks. In desperation, people throw money into lottery tickets, shady schemes, or get-rich-quick trends that vanish overnight. These don't shorten the journey, they destroy it. Buffett's golden rule remains as powerful as ever. Never lose money and never forget that rule. Finally, there's the mistake of living only for the present. Without long-term vision, the curve never appears. The growth you dream about requires years of consistency. No exceptions. So if those are the traps, what are the habits that actually accelerate wealth? It starts with consistency. No matter if you invest $50, $200, or $1,000 each month, the important part is never stopping. Small actions repeated over time compound into massive results. Then there's education. The more you read, study, and follow those who understand money, the fewer mistakes you'll make. Knowledge itself is an asset that protects all the others. Another key habit is patience. Real investors think in decades, not months. If you can shift your perspective from instant results to long-term freedom, you'll see wealth as a journey, not a sprint. Equally important is how you handle consumption. Every dollar spent today is a decision. Do you feed the present or invest in the future? By cutting unnecessary expenses and channeling that money into investments, you shorten the time until your wealth begins to work for you. And maybe the most powerful habit of all is reinvestment. The temptation to spend your first returns is strong, but the curve only truly takes off when you let your profits generate more profits. That's when exponential growth appears. At the end of the day, the choice is in your hands. You can let impatience, bad habits, and short-sighted decisions keep you stuck, or you can adopt discipline, vision, and persistence, and let the curve of wealth transform your life. Start small, stay consistent, reinvest relentlessly, and over time, your money will build the future you dream about. So take this as your wake-up call. Begin today and let the curve of wealth work in your favor. Thanks for watching InvestingFlix, where smart money learns smarter moves. Subscribe for more insights that grow your wealth.